Welcome to another episode of Dox'n Reality, and I'm your host, Mr. Paradox. Whew, I know it's been a few days since I've covered current events, but man, a lot has happened already. Last year, 2020 started off with Kobe Bryant dying and an assassination of an Iranian general, Qasem Soleimani. And this year started off with a goddamn coup, essentially. Boy, yeah, y'all thought 2020 was some shit. This whole next decade might be like the United Soviet Socialist Republics like back in the 40s and 50s, man. Oof. Man, let's just go ahead and get into some of these stories that are meant to usher in all this crap. And matter of fact, I'm gonna make them shorter this time so that way they're easier to digest. But let's go over to the web. All right, let's get this story. Completely untrustworthy. Iran bans the import of biohazard vaccines from the U.S. and Britain. Let's see. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah, I'm not even gonna pronounce that shit. Yeah, their prime minister has prohibited the import of any vaccines from the U.S. and the U.K., questioning their efficacy, questioning how questioning how effective they are and the safety, and suggesting that developers might be willing to test their drugs on foreign nations. Yeah, he's calling them out on their shit. Pretty much anybody who's an enemy of the United States who legitimately hates them, you should probably take heed to what they're saying because they're probably not bullshit. They don't have a reason, they do not have a reason to lie to you. Let's see. The announcement came in a tele, and then it's not even so much as the people they hate. They hate the politicians. They hate the leaders. The announcement came in a televised speech on Friday, with the Supreme Leader going as far as to suggest that London and Washington might be seeking to contaminate other countries with their anti-coronavirus solutions. Fuck, I might get banned just because I said it. The announcement came. Okay. Imports of U.S. and British vaccines into the country are forbidden. They are completely untrustworthy. It's not unlikely they will contaminate other nations. Like, me bringing that shit up over here. We don't got a central bank. We ain't got nobody pulling our strings, telling us how the fuck to run our country. Get the fuck out of here. We not doing that. Uh, yeah, Supreme Leader did not miss the opportunity to take further swipes at Iran's arch rival, stating that the soaring numbers of biohazard infections in the U.S. are the best proof why its medical products should not be tested. It's like, how do you have a vaccines but the numbers are still soaring? Like, that pretty much lets you know that they're faking the fucking data at this point. Like the mask, you made it mandatory to wear a mask. I still don't fucking wear one. I'm not gonna wear one. Uh, these masks, and on the box it even tells you that they're not very effective. You have to read this shit. They're telling you it doesn't work. You got the vaccine out and people are still testing positive for it. So it's like, well, what is the fucking point of this vaccine? What is the point of the mask if everything is just gonna just keep rising? At this point, they're just trying to fuck with you with your mentality up here. They're trying to keep you in fear because when you are stuck in fear 24/7, you never have time to think rational. And then when they just keep blitzkrieging you, bombarding you with negative news, that fucks with your soul. And when your soul is weakened, that's when they can just come in and steamroll you. Let's see. If the Americans were able to produce a vaccine, they would not have such a biohazard fiasco in their own country. So let's see. Oh, also, risking American life abroad won't divert attention from catastrophic failures at home. Iran blasts Trump's threats. Yeah. U.S. drug makers Moderna and Pfizer, as well as British AstraZeneca, or is it however you pronounce it, have launched their respective anti-biohazard inoculations in recent months. Mass vaccination campaigns using their drugs have already kicked off in several states, including the countries of the four vaccines' origin. Either Iran's Red Crescent, no, earlier, Iran's Red Crescent announced it was set to receive a batch of 150,000 doses of the Pfizer jab, though the organization gave no time frame of when the vaccines would arrive. Hmm. Apart from outright banning the U.S. and UK's drugs, I don't get how the fuck did the coronavirus fuck said it twice. How the fuck did a nation that was isolated from anybody having to do with the U.S. and all these other countries, how the fuck do they have a biohazard outbreak though? Like nobody's questioning that. Like how the fuck did China manage to spread that shit over there where like, they hardly have any business. If they're totally isolated from the world community, how the fuck are they having a biohazard outbreak? Think about that. A whole bunch of people have placed sanctions on them. So how would that even happen? Hmm. And then they're surrounded by, mountains on all sides. So I'm just saying, bro. And then the temperature in Iran, if it's surrounded by that kind of region, it's probably pretty fucking cold. So how the fuck would a virus survive in that kind of weather? I don't know. I don't know much about virology, but just just things like that just kind of make you say, just make you scratch your head. The leader though said that the option to import vaccines from other reliable places, so you don't trust the U.S. but you trust everywhere else. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like giving credence that when they say the world is a stage, they might not be bullshitting about that. Cause how the fuck y'all have an outbreak and you're pretty much isolated. But anyway, from other reliable places, while he did not specify the candidates for imports, Russia's Sputnik V vaccine is likely to be amongst the first candidates. Iran has been developing its own vaccine, and first stage trials have already begun. Yeah, when they say world government, they are not bullshitting about that. Hmm. Vaccine might not work properly against mutated COVID-19 variant, warns UK minister, hours after Pfizer study claims jab effective. So like other people are pointing out, you just got this vaccine and already it's starting to mutate. So that means more shots, more jabs, and more poison. But you're trying to do this on a mass scale. And then, matter of fact, there's a video I have to pull up. Where is it at? Just give me a second here. Just give me a second. Where is it at? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? That's not it. That's not it. Oh, damn it. That's not it. Uh, I'll, I'll get back to it, but it's a video of what Bill Gates was saying about the whole vaccine. Uh, a reporter was asking them about his investment into the whole vaccine pharmaceutical industry, and he said, "Yeah, that's a 20 to 1 return. Like you put in, I don't know, 10 billion, and you get back shit 20 times that effectively." So I'm like, "Oh, you stand to make a giant profit off this. This is more shit. This is more profitable than computer software." Hijacking health. That's funny. The enduring sanctions imposed on Tehran by Washington limit its ability to procure vaccines from abroad. How the fuck does one small state, a couple of thousand miles away, how does this one state have the power to limit who the fuck you trade with? Like it's like the U.S. does something and the world follows. I don't get that shit. How the fuck does a small ass country have power over all these other big ass countries? That never made sense to me. Let's see. Especially the way while supplies of essential medical goods are not sanctioned, Iran's ability to make foreign transactions has been severely limited. Now I'm wondering, is that true? Because other sources are saying that their economy is doing just fine. So, and not to mention they're sitting on their own reserves of oil. So, I think they're fine on energy production as well as doing whatever else. But that's just me. The leader also touched upon the sanctions issue again, calling upon Washington to stop its hostile policies and urging it to lift the restrictions. He also said the U.S. still had pretty much what the U.S. doesn't even produce anything at this point. Only thing we produce is entertainment for the most part. Like all the jobs here are vanished for the most part. We don't make steel. We barely make shoes here. Matter of fact, no, we send that shit over to China. We barely make clothes. It's like well, this is a country that does not really produce anything of value. So like why the fuck are they calling for to the United States to lift sanctions? Like it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. That's just me though. If I'm wrong, correct me, because right now I'm just going off of what I know, or maybe what I think I know. Let me humble myself real quick. I'm not saying I'm all right all the time, but I'm just going on the sources I've acquired. So they may be outdated, might be obsolete, but I'm just anyway. Let's see. He also said the U.S. still had an option to return to the landmark nuclear deal, which Washington walked away from back in 2018. We are not insisting nor in a hurry for the U.S. to return to the deal. But what is logical is our demand for the lifting of sanctions. These brutal sanctions must be lifted immediately. Like, what can you get from the U.S. that you can't get from, say, China, Pakistan, Russia? You know, the BRICS nation. Like, what can you get from the U.S. really? I mean, it's not like the other countries aren't making their own weapons. It's not like y'all don't have the blueprints to how to make an M4 or AR-15 or something like that. So I'm like, what's the problem here? Mm, yep. Especially that overthrow back in the 50s. Yeah, they have not forgotten that shit, and they're never going to either. Especially anyway, I can go. There's a whole story that goes on behind that, and I don't think y'all care to hear it right now. And maybe I'll just cover it later on, just to kind of give us a backstory as to why Iran and the U.S. can't stand one another at all. But either way, that's all for this episode of Dox'n Reality. Mr. Paradox over and out.